Hey everyone, did you know that most people think plasma cutters are only for industrial shops? Turns out, a lot of home welders and DIYers are using them for everything from cutting sheet metal to building custom furniture. If you've been curious about getting one for your garage or workshop, I just tested this 220V plasma cutter 50A Pilot Arc non-touch cutting machine and it's actually really impressive for the price. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the non-touch cutting feature is a game-saver for beginners. You just drag the torch along the metal and the Pilot Arc starts automatically without needing to tap the metal like with older torches. I tried it on some 1/4-inch mild steel and it sliced right through without any preheating or fuss. That's perfect if you're just getting started and don't want to deal with the learning curve of traditional plasma cutters. I remember when I first started welding, I was always hesitant to try new techniques because I was worried about making mistakes. But with this plasma cutter, I felt confident from the very first cut. The non-touch feature takes away a lot of the intimidation factor, and it makes it easy to get started right away. Another thing that stood out was the 2T/4T switch. 2 torch mode is great for quick cuts when you're in a hurry, just pull the trigger and go. 4 torch mode locks the trigger so you can drag the torch without holding the button the whole time, which is super helpful for long straight cuts or when you need both hands free. I used it to cut out a bunch of 1-inch strips for a small project and it made the whole process way more comfortable. I found myself switching back and forth between the 2 modes depending on what I was doing, and it was nice to have that flexibility. For example, when I was cutting out small intricate pieces, I used the 2T mode because I needed more control over the torch. But when I was cutting long straight lines, I switched to 4T mode and it made the process so much faster and easier. The build quality surprised me for something in this price range. The case is solid metal, not flimsy plastic, and the torch feels balanced in your hand. I also like that it runs off standard 220V household power, so you don't need a special outlet or generator. That makes it way more practical if you're working in a garage or backyard instead of a dedicated shop. I've had experience with other plasma cutters that required special power setups, and it was always a hassle. But this one is plug and play, which is a huge advantage. The metal case also gives me confidence that it will last for a long time, even with regular use. Heat management is always a concern with plasma cutters, but this one has an automatic thermal overload protection that kicks in before anything overheats. I ran it for about 20 minutes straight cutting 1/2 inch steel and the fan stayed quiet but effective. It never got too hot to touch, which is a relief if you're working on a project that runs longer than expected. I've had experiences with other plasma cutters that would overheat and shut down after just a few minutes of use, so it was nice to see that this one can handle extended use without any issues. The thermal protection also gives me peace of mind, knowing that the machine is looking out for itself and won't get damaged if I accidentally leave it on for too long. One feature I didn't expect but really appreciated was the Pilot Arc. It works even on painted or rusty metal without needing to clean the surface first. I tried it on an old piece of angle iron that had been sitting outside for years and it cut cleanly without any issues. That's a huge time saver when you're dealing with scrap or salvaged metal. I've spent hours cleaning and preparing metal for cutting in the past, but with this plasma cutter, I can just dive right in and start cutting. The Pilot Arc is also really useful for cutting through metal with uneven surfaces or rough edges. It's able to maintain a consistent arc and cut through the metal smoothly, even when the surface is rough or uneven. The instruction manual is actually pretty clear too. It walks you through setup, troubleshooting, and even includes some basic tips for getting the best cut. I set mine up in under 10 minutes and had my first cut going without any headaches. The manual also includes some safety precautions and guidelines, which is important for anyone who's new to plasma cutting. I appreciated the attention to detail and the fact that the manufacturer took the time to include helpful tips and advice. Now, it's not perfect. In conclusion, I'm really impressed with this 220V plasma cutter 50A Pilot Arc non-touch cutting machine. It's a great option for anyone who wants to get into plasma cutting, and it's also a solid choice for experienced welders who want a reliable and versatile machine. You'll find the link below if you want to take a closer look. Thanks for watching and happy cutting!